What it do, gang? Back at it again with the white vans. Yes, sir. Bro, I've restarted many, many times. And not because, I try a bunch of new things out, but because I go all in when I do things. And I went all in on a couple of the wrong things. And just to fill you in so you don't learn from the same mistakes and just give you some background on like where I went, how I got to traveling the world with financial freedom, running an entire business on my laptop. But yeah, the couple things I went all in on that were the wrong things that created resets and setbacks and turmoil and being completely lost with no actual course of direction. And the only people around me I sought out direction from didn't have my, best interest at heart. So the first thing was 9 to 5s and regular jobs. I don't really got to fill many people in on, what that is. Obviously, what's up with that. And then the second was MLMs, which is the same thing as the regular 9 to 5s. Still part of the matrix. Same birds of the same flock, right? What do they say? Birds of the feather flock together. Some shit. Birds of a feather. Fuck. What?
Yeah.
Birds.
They all got feathers. Yeah.
Yeah, like birds of a feather.
Right.
Feathers don't got birds. Birds have feathers. Anyway, you get the idea, right? So, so like regular dead end jobs, regular dead end MLMs. Don't mess with those. Those are like I said, same as like 9 to 5s, but like worse. Except like it's more like exploitation of free labor. So it's not like So anyway, when I left that and finally became an entrepreneur, this is what happened. So I will tell you, I had saw online how these entrepreneurs were printing money with marketing and acquisition. All your favorite influencers, I've seen them for years. They've been talking about it for years. And I even started to really get good at networking whenever I moved to Tampa on my last couple $100 to join this sales job. I had networked with a lot of good people that weren't in my sales job, but were making good money online. And I started noticing a pattern about like the guys I would network with and talk to and hang out with that were making, maybe 50K, 100K plus, multiple 6 figures a month. And they always were like talking about how stress-free their life was and how minimal work they had to do to keep their business going. And then I would explain them my situation and they would be like, bro, what? Like that sounds like slavery. What do you mean you're working 12 hours a day in the office and then buying leads for some B2C loan based advancement? Like I was like, they're like, bro, what are you talking about? Like you're literally slaving for someone else. So like, they're like, do this, do this, do this. And I, at first, just like everyone else, I didn't jump in to something like, my dreams, for example, like when it came to online business, because I wanted to try to add that onto my plate. I didn't even try actually, but in my head, I was thinking like, I'm already so invested in this. If I even blink, my business, my insurance agency, whatever, will fall apart. Like my commission-based sales job will be obsolete if I try to focus on that, like, because that's what I was conditioned to think by, by others. So I never really tried it while I was in that position. And I was just afraid to try to diversify my attention, while I was like very, very much addicted to like the scarcity mindset of like, if I just blink and look away from this thing, I might lose everything, which is like, that's a limiting belief. That's a scarcity mindset. And it's just a lack of faith. So that's just glorifying and that's idolatry essentially. So that's what happened to me. But it was constant. Like I had, friends I would consider associates, people like that were making really good money. And they were like, bro, it just sucks to see you like chasing this rabbit that's like set up to be never caught, and eventually when push came to shove, I had just maxed out credit cards, loans, really couldn't afford any more leads at my sales job. It was just kind of a bunch of debt stacking up. I had a massive agency, like I've talked about in the past, doing multiple six figures a month in sales, like 400K a month in sales. But I was only taking home at the end of the day. Like once you factor in the debt and the commission rates and the advanceable and the chargeback retention, the lead cost, the like, bro, I'm only taking home like what, a couple percent of that whole thing or something at that point. Like, you know, so then my bills were like 6K a month to just to live, and then my credit cards were like 5K a month to pay them back. But so long story short, it was just one of those things where he was like, bro, you're just in a hamster wheel. Like, you know, I had a couple people making money online fully with acquisition and marketing, which is what I do now, whether it's drop shipping or, you know, courses on like another skill or, you know, different things like that. And I was just like, okay, it makes sense, but like, I just don't get it enough to give up what I've got now. Well, long story short, once everything that I had built up for like that I thought I was building up for years invested into something, I ended up like 4 years later, like in a worse position than when I started. The only thing that I gained from it was just like viewing like what not to do, who not to be around, how, you know, not to identify yourself as the you know, majority on the path most traveled and things like that, right? So it just narrowed down that path even better for me to get even more clarity on, okay, well, here's a whole bunch of like what not to do and why, but like, so the only thing left is like what you wanted all along. Like 4 years before that sales job, like I had wanted to figure out how to do like online sales, like marketing acquisition, to be able to sell things online. Like I had tried at Amazon FBA, I had taken some courses, some were good, some were bad, tried a few different things. And I just jumped into the sales job because it had mentorship and like hands-on coaching. So I'm a hands-on learner, so that's kind of what happened. I eventually, you know, lost everything with the sales job and was like, all right, well, this is the only thing left that makes the most sense, because like acquisition, I was like, worst case scenario, it's the highest demand skill, because it really dawned on me that everybody online that was selling something, whether it was like, you know, Brez, Wes Watson, Andrew Tate, Samuel Anua, Iman Ghatzi's been talking about it for, you know, the past 6 years, things like that, right? And it's like, they're all selling something with the same skill. So if I just learn this one skill, I can use it in any industry, provide my service to any industry, provide my expertise to any student, any, you know, business that's looking to scale. You know, that makes the most sense, right? So ever since then, ever since I got someone like a mentor, you could say, that taught me how to, you know, first set up the ads, funnels, a couple of different things like that. Now I self-taught myself a lot when it came to like CRMs, pipelines, and AI communication systems. Pair that up with the front end marketing assets, and you've got yourself an entire acquisition system. So that's what I set up for businesses today, and that's what I teach. I'm, you know, typically doing anywhere from 2.5 to 5 to 10K for done for you setups, and then there's now a coaching program that has a couple different tiers. I mean, since my last video dropped, it's got the whole entire AI software that we built that basically does the whole job for you, like something that I was doing manually for a long time that does work well, but I have a system that's like making it way easier and quicker for me, but now obviously way easier and quicker than for anyone that gets their hands on it. So since then, by doing those things, learning those skills, implementing AI, learning, and just like repetition, I was able to have a full-blown business online that goes wherever I go. This is real locational freedom. This isn't just, you know, working at home for the day and you got to go back to the office tomorrow. This ain't I get to work in West Palm because I have a company event for 2 days and then I got to go back to the dungeon. This isn't that I'm traveling across the world and I'm never coming back. That's more what we're talking about here. Travel the world, never come back, go to whatever country you want, do whatever you want, you know what I mean? See whatever you want, you know, and work and make money as consistently as you want it based on what you want out of it. So that's where we ended up. That's where we're at now. And I'll put in the description my Instagram, but it's osiris.scales. Reach out to me if you have any questions directly. Like I said, doing a couple different tiers with this. Have coaching on it, done with you, done for you. We're scaling businesses out here, changing lives, and let's just fucking go. DM me for more information. Scary.